wear glasses all the time now.
I don't have a cool background like Brock over here is 70 billion toys.
Dude, mine's growing and growing every week.
We know. You send us pictures from the swap meet.
Yeah.
Hey, do you still have your first pacifier back there somewhere?
Yeah, I do.
The views expressed in this presentation are those of the host and guests and do not represent the views of any lodge, Grand Lodge, appended body, or any other person or persons whomsoever.
Brothers, we are at Refreshment.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to the At Refreshment Masonic Video Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, Wesley Reuter. I'm here with Brock and Eric.
Hello.
Hey. And we have two very special guests for you today. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them or not, but they are Matt and Andrew from Time for Fellowship Podcast. Guys, welcome to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for coming on.
What's going on? Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah,
Golf clap.
appreciate it.
Yeah. I figured it's about time we had you guys on. You know, Brock and I are fans of your show. I know I listen at the gym. I think Brock is listening at work. So
absolutely.
Yeah, you guys.
So
does it help you work out?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what jurisdiction are you guys out of?
Wisconsin.
Well,
yeah, we're just across the border in Milwaukee. So
honestly,
Very
sometimes
close.
No, it doesn't help with working out because I just bust out laughing at things sometimes, and it's not fun when you got a heavy weight over you. You're like, no, I just start laughing.
Gotta pump for the brothers.
Get a brother
just as
pump.
you're about to do that, and then you hear baby birding, and then you're like, oh.
Can we not talk about that?
Baby bird
By the way, not necessary anymore. I have them back.
Right. So first off, for those that might not be familiar with Time for Fellowship, how did you guys get started? Where are you out of? And what do you guys talk about?
Go ahead, Andrew.
So the Time for Fellowship with Matt and Andrew podcast was a brainchild that Matt and I had been thinking about for many years. We kept going, God, we have such good conversations at the bar and we're so smart. We should make other people listen to us. So
He's not
as
wrong.
any
like
normal
us.
person does. I remember we were at annual communication.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, we were at AC and we're having some pints, and I get to my hotel room and I'm laying in bed and I'm thinking about it, and I was like, Matt, the podcast named Fellowship Time or Time Fellowship or something like that. And then he was like, I think we need to workshop it, but I like it. And once there was a name, suddenly everything else started to fall into place, because once we named it, it became alive in our heads. So then away we went, and the goal of the podcast was always to show off living Masonry in Wisconsin. So I want to share all the cool people, the stories, and also just the types of conversations Masons have. Some of our episodes are just Matt and I chatting about stuff, Masonic stuff, sometimes gardening for some reason, and other things.
Horticulture.
And, just showing off what the lives of Masons are like through fellowship.
Yeah. It's funny because I remember, and you guys talking about gardening. Matt, I just got done watching one of your videos. You're tossing around things, being all manly and macho, presenting the show on Facebook. And then I hear you talk about gardening.
We're digging in the dirt like men.
Wait, you were watching one of my reels where I promote the show while pulling Little Debbie product in the back of a truck. I don't know that would be super manly and macho.
How dare you, sir?
Oh man, yeah.
How dare you? Yeah, dude. Little Debbies get heavy after a while, I'm sure.
That they do. But all in all, the worst part is dealing with days like tomorrow where it's going to be 13 degrees when I start in the morning.
Oh yeah, that's not
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
feel
fun.
you, man.
Yeah. So Matt, would you agree with Andrew? That's how the show got started, or do you have a different take on how you guys got started?
No, I mean, he pretty much got it right. A 2 a.m. drunken message at annual communication had the rough idea for the name. But yeah, once we had the name, it became real and something we wanted to pursue. But we had been talking about it for probably a year and a half prior to that, just trying to figure out if our conversations that we had at the pub would make for good content, because we always found ourselves talking about different rabbit holes of Masonry. And then, we brought guests on pretty quick, and then we kind of discovered that was a trail we wanted to go down. And as it's progressed, we branched out to having like you on, Wes, and people from other states. And we just had Brian Bird from the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast on. And so, I feel like the podcasting community is really developing around supporting each other, the Masonic podcasting community, at least. And it's become a pretty cool progression to see, especially since, we started not all that long after you guys, and there was, why am I blanking on that other Masonic podcast, with Todd and Jared and all those guys. And, we all got kind of got going, but I would definitely say that you guys kind of broke the wall down for the informal Masonic podcast versus the,
the educational ones.
We're trendsetters.
You
can't take us down.
Yeah.
There is an old school one called Masonic Central from way back in the day that was kind of more conversational, but that one was, minus the alcohol.
Okay. I guess I'm happy to be a trendsetter, but sometimes I wonder, did I just open a rabbit hole that probably
you created these problems?
Yes, with that beard. Because I just feel like I was the least likely one to start anything like this. I'd have to admit, the story would probably sound better if it was like Marty approaching me and all this stuff instead of me approaching Marty and everyone. Because I don't know, it just seems like our show is more of like Marty's personality than mine, but it is my personality. But sometimes to me, it just, I don't know. I'm like, did I really start this? Did I really do this? Oh, but because I just
look at all the children you've made.
all the illegitimate children, Wes. Well, yeah, because it's weird, and it's just, to me, it's just weird hearing things like that I was an influence. So I guess that's why I kind of, I really me. So, but that's just the way I look at myself, because I still think I hobble around on a cane sometimes, even though I'm not.
You got rid of the cane finally?
Yeah, I did.
Heck yeah.
No,
he still has it. He didn't get rid of it.
Yeah. Well, when you spend
now, he only uses it to beat me.
When you spend hundreds of dollars on them, it's kind of hard to get rid of them.
So you decided that since you couldn't get attention from the cane anymore, you had to grow this beard?
No. So I'll be real quick. No, I switched to the carnivore diet because I have what's called CRPS, chronic regional pain syndrome, or complex regional pain syndrome. Anyways, it caused me pain. I have atrophy in my leg, had it for years, on disability. Gonna get a spinal cord stimulator implant because I'm just up to my neck in pain. Found out about the carnivore diet, and I'm like, okay, what the hell do I have to lose? And within a couple months, the pain subsided. Now it's down to like 1, maybe 2 pills a day from a handful. And
Nice.
that's just when I feel the pain come on burning and I can't take it anymore. So
that's crazy. Power of a diet, man.
I couldn't believe it. It's and I still can't believe it sometimes. It's
it may be hard to believe, but I mean, Wes, seeing your transformation, because your body type has changed to an athletic body type, you're more vascular, and being more vascular, I think that allows more blood flow to actually help with that pain management. It probably is helping with some healing too.
And
You
dude,
need
just
to be
clean it up.
careful
all
with
the
those
less
vascular comments.
information. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was that, Brock?
I don't even know.
I was too busy looking at Max's reaction.
Last comment.
I'm keeping it clean on this one, Wes.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
We're off to a strong start.
Yeah. As I was editing, Maxa made a similar comment like that, and I was asking if I should leave it in the show or not.
Yeah. We were all like, no, bleep it out, bleep it out.
And that's the funny thing. People ask us why we've never done live or anything. It's because of our mouths.
Because you go to jail.
Yeah.
Because of this guy right here.
So, anyways,
that's Andrew for us. I think you counted your swears on the last podcast that we just released last week, right?
Yeah, I had some. I swear very casually. I swear out of love.
It's not the swearing. It's the loose cannon of a mouth that just anything could come out of this mouth right here. Anything.
Oh, okay. So let's go with that.
Sounds vascular.
Yeah.
It's so veiny.
So, have you guys ever been approached or asked anything from Grand Lodge, like, "Hey, try and keep it clean," or maybe subjects or anything of like that nature? Any feedback from them at all?
Nope. So we kind of got ahead of that a little bit when we were trying to put everything together. We asked for the approval of the Grand Master before we started recording or releasing any episodes, just because we felt like it might conflict with a part of Wisconsin Masonic Code that talked about like published material. So we laid out what we thought the show was going to be and asked the Grand Master at the time, Most Worshipful Dave Ritchie, and he said, I'm not a big fan of podcasts. I'll give you guys 3 months to prove me wrong, and then we'll see what you put out in that time and whether or not you get to keep going. So we recorded 3 months worth of episodes, released them, everything else at the end of 3 months. He went, you know what? I love what you guys are doing. Keep doing it. And then 2 Grand Masters have approved us since, because we keep going back and asking. But we just kind of told them what the platform was going to be like, what we were going to talk about, and said, we'll throw a disclaimer at the beginning of the show that's saying our views don't necessarily represent the views of the Grand Lodge. And we haven't got any slaps on the wrist or approached about anything as of yet. So let's hope it stays that way.
Well, and we do a good job at, like, I try to minimize my swear count. It used to be none, and then I've grown bold over the years.
I've noticed a couple slip in here and there.
Yep, I've been growing bold, but I'm still trying to keep it PG. So you keep, 2 swears or something. I guess I'm not supposed to use the F-bomb all the time, but that's my favorite. But
it just rolls off the tongue beautifully, doesn't it?
Yeah, like, we're very cognizant that, like, we don't want our podcast to be inauthentic, where we're not talking about how we feel about things because we're afraid Grand Lodge is going to be annoyed with us over what we say. But we're cognizant enough to say, don't sound like you're complaining. Always spin it in like more of a positive, or like instead of being like, this guy effing sucks, you'd be like, it's frustrating when. And so you just, keep it so that you're not just being, I don't know, like rude or disrespectful. You're just kind of being authentic. And so I always try to translate stuff, even if it is something more serious or something that, maybe I am unhappy with, to put it in terms that aren't directly just like, I don't know, I guess complaining would be the right word. So I always try to fit it like, I'm frustrated with this because of this, and this is why. And so it keeps it, I don't want to say business speak, but sometimes I'll slip into that when I'm talking about like a more controversial topic per se.
Understandable.
Which we really haven't hit too many of.
We've tiptoed.
Well, there's times when we're talking about the fraternity, you have to be serious. I mean, we all joke around. We love to joke around. But sometimes, like, all right, we got to set that aside and say something serious here.
Well, and that's part of podcasting in general. I mean, there is always a serious undertone to a podcast. There's always a debate or a conversation being had, but who says we can't have fun and have a drink here and there with brothers outside of Lodge and enjoy some refreshment?
Right.
As I'm apt to do.
Yep. Same here. The best podcasts Andrew and I record are, well, when we're drinking, as long as we circumscribe ourselves and don't drink too much during the recording.
To be fair, on the last, so sorry, Eric, go ahead.
The problem is when you guys record 4 episodes all in one day at the Moose, and by the 4th episode, nobody could talk straight.
So, like, when when you're really drinking, you got that buzz going. You're like, man, that was a great episode. How many of those have you listened to afterwards? Like, what were we thinking?
Yeah.
The last episode that we did,
All of them.
So the thing is like we generally aren't usually drinking during our episodes. Occasionally, if me and Matt are home, one of us have a cocktail or something like that. But a lot of the time, we're either sober or maybe having one or two drinks. So it's usually not an issue, except for the last episode where we were having cocktails. But since I was talking on the mic, our guest kept gesturing like, do I need a refill? So I just kind of would mindlessly slide my glass over and he'd keep refilling more whiskey in it. And towards the end, I was like, dude, I was like, uh-oh. So now I got a little turned up. I had like a very passionate speech near the end where I was like, this is what it's all about. Like, I was like, I know all the world's answers.
Was that the speech that we luckily got, nobody got to hear because the battery cut out?
Oh no, it's all in there. I edited it.
Oh, that's
it
the one
sounds
that's
great.
in there.
It's just that's why you can tell my energy's up.
Yeah.
How many episodes we've missed out on because the battery ran out?
Yeah, right. Well, in this particular case, I'm going to say we were legitimately testing a power source because for Conference of Grandmasters, they wanted to charge us $260 to have an outlet to plug our recorder into. Yeah, so we were testing Milwaukee M12 batteries as a power source, and they actually work really well. So because I have a couple of the 4.0s, so
they last like 2 hours.
Well, it lasted 2 hours, and then it turned itself off. It still had a full charge, so one of those will probably get us through like a whole day. So
yeah, that's cool.
You guys
Sneaky
record
tech
mostly in a lodge?
So we used to record in our lodge's conference room for many years. We've mostly moved to digital these days just because of ease of access. So when we were recording at lodge, Matt still lived in Milwaukee proper. He's now out of the city, outside the city he moved. And I'm 5 minutes from lodge. So it was a lot easier for us just to pop in and go do episodes. So we still try to do a couple episodes here and there when we can kind of work it into our schedule. But most of the time we're digital these days on the interwebs just because it's easier. Matt doesn't have to drive 45 minutes. So.
Yep. Yeah, it was bad. I moved out of the city of Milwaukee. I couldn't take it anymore. So,
yeah, I also moved to the country. Like, I think I've been out here like 2 years now. I'm going on maybe like 2 years now.
What's defined as the country?
Well, I'm in the farthest edge suburbia that you can be in. So I'm in the edge of Chicagoland. Yeah.
You can see cows and horses on the land when you drive to his house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pig that we recorded the Down on the Farm episodes, that's like 30 minutes from my house. I'm 30 minutes past that yet. So
fair enough. I mean, it's hard for me to figure in the Chicagoland landscape because, like, in Milwaukee, if I drive 25 minutes, I'll find a barn. Like,
for real. Yeah,
that's Wisconsin. That's not.
Yeah.
I'm in the city as of this recording. I'm in.
He's in the city. I'm in the suburbs. I'm in the direct suburbs of Chicago, so it's close houses, small yards.
Technically speaking, I'm in the suburbs of Milwaukee, but technically Milwaukee's like right over there, about a 4-minute walk away. So count it.
Okay. Yeah. Literally, Chicago is like across the street. So that's it. I'm part of the city. It doesn't matter.
Not with that beard, you're not.
No.
That's a very Chicago thing.
Your guys' Grand Lodge is in Madison, right?
Delafield.
Yeah, no, I thought it was Dousman.
Dousman. Yeah, sorry. Dousman.
Like that's where you guys have your like. Oh, okay.
So Dousman is where the Grand Lodge office is. So that's where during the year they do their stuff. Madison is where we've been doing annual communication the last handful of years at the very large Wisconsin Masonic Center, which is this big old building right off of State Street down in Madison.
Yeah.
We've been doing it there the last handful.
Yeah, me and Wes have been there a couple times. I usually try to make it there at least almost every 2 years, every couple years at least. Yeah, I absolutely love that building, dude. It's so beautiful. And me and Wes went right before Halloween, and man, we had a blast.
Oh yeah, it was
We
great.
just went down State Street, hung out all night. It was an absolute blast. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that
that's
was
what's
for
really,
the
really
Scottish
fun.
Rite.
Yeah.
What's really fun about AC finally being in Madison, as it has been the last couple of years, is since it's right downtown, it's so fun and easy just to get done with your work, business, go pop around downtown for a little while, grab some drinks, hang out, get some food, go up to the hotel, go to hospitality. Like it's all, you're just right in the center of everything. So it's really fun. And, my brother went to college in Madison. So I've been in this visiting there for years and years and years. And so I always like having opportunities to roam around down there.
Well, let me tell you something
See
about
this.
our AC and Springfield, Illinois. It is not like that.
No.
I mean, there's a decent amount of microbreweries, but they're like far and few in between. And you could get a horseshoe if you want. That's a thing.
What?
A horseshoe?
Springfield.
It's like a plate with everything all piled on top of each other.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of amazing.
It's not. It's not.
It's very
It's not.
average, but
It's yeah.
you got to try it though.
Sounds
You
great.
gotta try it.
Application is not great.
I was thinking though, I thought I had heard that like your guys' Grand Lodge had taken over the building from the Valley or something like that, or some. I don't. It was a few
Okay,
years ago.
so-
I heard this. I don't
Yeah.
technically remember it too well.
The building in Madison a few years ago, it was owned by Madison Lodges, and they couldn't keep up with it anymore. I mean, you've seen the size of the building; it's huge, right?
It's
So-
it's incredible. Yeah.
They were thinking about selling it, and rather than selling it, the Grand Lodge took ownership of it, and we all paid like an assessment for a couple of years to get a fund started up for maintenance of the
Nice.
building and stuff like that. Yeah. So in order to preserve the
Oh,
building, the
cool.
Grand Lodge took ownership of it.
So you got taxed.
But yeah,
Good though.
We had like a
Yeah,
$20 tax for 1 year, and everyone
That
lost
was
their
worth
mind.
it.
And
No,
I
no,
was
it
like,
was-
dude,
right.
I'm in. I'm
Yeah,
in. I love this
100% in.
building.
That building is priceless. You couldn't possibly, let it be
Right.
lost. And that
I'm throwing
organ in
tea into
there,
a harbor over this.
and then
It
like
is perfect.
the way that the granite is cut and folded and stuff on that wall in the one room in there, and like
You
I
can't
just
fold
remember so
granite.
many of the cool things when getting the tour of the building where I'm like, oh my god, there's like this is the only place in the whole state that has this, or this is the whole. It was intense.
I
Yeah, no,
look
it's
forward to going and visiting that building with you guys if you guys ever want to make another road trip.
Oh, dude, absolutely,
Yeah.
man.
Eric, are you Scottish
It
Rite
is-
or no?
I
You
am
can
not
visit, but
Scottish Rite.
you can
yeah,
visit,
I'm
but
not
I was just-
Scottish Rite. I am York Rite, Grotto, and High 12.
They got York Rite events there. Yeah, they got everything there.
Mhm.
How far are you guys away from that building, Matt and Andrew?
Me,
So I'm only
hour,
like
10 minutes.
I'm like
Few minutes.
40 minutes. Yeah, at this point, I'm like in between Andrew and Madison, where I moved
I
out
pop
to.
over
so-
to Madison all the time because my family lives there too, or my brother does. So it's not far.
Makes
Hour,
sense.
10 minutes. I drive 45 minutes every day to drop my kid off at twice a week. My kid off at my parents' house. So
I
what's
drive
another
45
20?
minutes every day for work.
Yeah,
And that's one
man.
direction.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I mean, nothing I do, and I don't think anybody in Freemasonry does anything closer than a half hour away. It's just-
Not usually, no.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
feels
yeah.
like a fair statement.
Unless we're going to Indiana for hijinks.
I barely know anybody that's like, oh yeah, my lodge is like literally down the block. I mean, I live like 2 miles away from my old lodge in Oswego, but I don't think that's going to happen again.
I can walk to my lodge in 18 minutes on foot. On bike,
What?
8 minutes. In car, 5.
It's a honestly, for me to my lodge, we have a it's called the Prairie Path, and it's like a bike path or a running path, and it goes straight basically from the end of my block all the way down to where my lodge is. And I could ride my bike there in 20 minutes if I wanted to. Well, when I was a kid, I haven't read that path for a while. I can't see my feet. It's fine. I'm an average Chicago-sized Mason. It's fine.
He's the Bears fan.
Stop bears. Stop bears.
Let's not talk about that.
I wasn't even gonna bring
No,
that
no,
up.
no,
I was like, dude, no.
Got those
Hey, you
apple
know,
fritters.
I'm not
wasn't
even
even
a
gonna
football
say
fan, but
anything.
I had to say it. So.
You know what? I didn't bring it up. I waited for somebody else to.
I'm in a state of depression. It's fine. Just a little depressed. It's fine.
I didn't
Congrats
even
on your
watch
Super
the
Bowl.
game.
Congrats on your Super Bowl.
Hey, whoa.
I hope
Listen,
I
not.
didn't
Let's
find
not-
out-
let's
I'm going to
not
be-
get too crazy.
I
I'm
didn't
gonna be
find out
fourth
what
ranked
You
fairly
already
honest.
won your Super Bowl. You already won your Super Bowl.
I'm going to be fourth ranked fairly honest. I don't think any Chicago Bears fan expected us to get this far this year. The fact that we did is just awesome.
Well, I think they're like, we're gonna move the stadium, and everybody's like, oh no.
Not to Indiana.
Not to Indiana.
Yeah.
Not to Gary.
Yeah.
That'd be great. I would love that. Actually, I think it would be hilarious,
Dude, so we've got a
That'd
bunch
be
of
so funny.
background for you guys. I work at Menards, which is a huge Wisconsin company anyway.
Hey, where do you work?
Menards,
At
Saves
Menards.
big money.
At Menards. Yeah.
You drive the race car, right?
We have a lot of contractors. I actually run the pro department, and we have a lot of contractors that are renovating Gary. Like Gary is supposed to be like another up and coming neighborhood. They're revamping it.
I'd like to see it.
Interesting.
I was
would
gonna
love to
say,
see
when
it.
I used to be in my Honda shit, dude, I used to go to their junkyard to pull Honda parts because I know nobody else is dare enough to go to that junkyard to get parts. So
Yeah, no,
I can
they're,
always find good Honda parts because I know nobody's going there to get them.
there's supposed to be
There
some
is-
serious rebuilding in Gary. It was a very big hub for a long period of time, and it just fell by the wayside when that industry became less important.
There's
Yeah,
an
it got
abandoned
It got
church.
Detroited.
It did get Detroited. The thing about the Bears doing that and moving to Gary, there's a lot bigger infrastructure problems than Chicago or wherever
Arlington
it was,
Heights.
Arlington Heights.
Yeah, yeah.
Arlington Heights, the governor's promised to spend like $1 billion to upgrade infrastructure.
I mean, that ground's already like leveled and stuff. So like,
Yeah.
I kind of get what they're doing. And then they already had like, what was it? The dog track there, or horse track or something?
Yeah,
like
it was a horse track.
Yeah. So
Arlington-
they kind of had
Arlington
like that
Racetrack.
whole, ritzy areas kind of surrounding that already where, dump some money.
It's a ploy.
into it.
It's a ploy
Yeah.
for the Bears to try and not have to pay taxes. We know it. We know what it is.
Bring him out.
This is
You
the other
know
one.
them.
Yeah.
You love them. The Gary Bears.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's
I mean, we
right.
were
You guys
talking,
can move out of Soldier Field and then
Yeah, they
finally
moved
let
all
Lambeau
over.
Field be the oldest stadium in the NFL like it should be.
Oh, we ruined Soldier Field was ruined years ago.
It's
Oh, when they
it's
landed the
terrible.
UFO on it?
Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Truthfully, yes.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
funny.
I can't wait to sing the Bears, the Gary Bears.
Gary, Indiana.
Getting shot
Gary,
at through
Indiana.
Oh no.
So, all right. Anyway,
Whenever
we
I see
always get
Gary,
off subject.
whenever I see Gary on an exit sign, I always check my gas tank. Like, please have gas. Please have gas.
Oh no.
Don't let me stop. Don't let me stop. Don't let me stop. Yeah. Oh, if you're doing that, you're on the Skyway. You're already broke.
Oh yeah. So, how has the podcast been received? How's your audience take your guys' take on Masonry?
Good. We have
Think
gotten
good.
a lot of compliments from people in the Grand Lodge all over the place saying they like it. One cool thing that I've enjoyed about the podcast is for a lot of people, we are their first podcast. So
nice.
we're the first time that they get to listen to a pod because a lot of the people will come up and be like, hey, I've been hearing about this podcast. I want to listen. You show me how to do podcasts. And I'll be like,
Do you guys get
Okay.
recognized pretty often?
occasionally. I wouldn't say
don't.
all that often, but the thing is that we're both fairly well known, at least around our district to begin with. So you can't be recognized by people who already knew who you were.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they might
But
not have
mainly
known
like
who you
new
were.
people coming
before
in,
that.
yeah.
New people coming in, not so much. Like, I don't know if we've had a massive effect on non-Mason listeners. I mean, when we go to annual communication and stuff like that, I've definitely had people come up and be like, hey, are you that guy from the podcast? And I'll be like, yep, that's me. And then stuff like that, but it's nothing insane.
Yeah. I don't get recognized.
Same.
Eric's a little jealous about that.
I got
My
listen,
problem is nobody forgets who I am unless I
I was
shave
wearing-
this.
I was wearing an At Refreshment T-shirt, and we went to we were on our way to annual communications, and a guy, another Mason, spotted my T-shirt, and said, "Hey man, I listen to that podcast. Do you know who the guys are?" I'm like, I'm one of those guys. I'm one. Like, yeah, Marty and Yoshi and Mark. Like, I'm on the podcast.
Who's that guy whose name's with an E?
Yeah. Forget that guy.
He's like the Jason
honestly though,
Newsted.
sometimes it's better to not be recognized because so many people know who I am and will
Eyes
say
on
hi
you,
to
bud.
me. And then I'll meet them a year later again and they'll say hi again. And the name's not there. Sorry.
What's up, brother?
Hey, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, it's
Did you guys advertise your podcast, or how'd you guys spread the word? How'd you guys get the word out that you guys were doing a podcast, or that it was out there? Did you guys share it on a Grand Lodge page or anything, or?
So it's been shared fairly organically, word of mouth. So I've seen some districts starting to put up stuff for it, but we haven't really actively done an advertising push or anything like that. Matt does
Social
a
media.
TikTok,
Yeah.
and then we'd post on social media. But outside of that, it's mostly word of mouth. And honestly, the biggest thing that helped us was going to annual communication. So when all these people from the lodges around the state see us at a booth, take a business card, bring it back to their lodges, and then it kind of just spreads organically.
Yeah, that's one thing I got to do is make business cards. Still haven't done that.
Yeah. We have to unfortunately redesign ours. I just went to do another order from Vistaprint and they no longer have the card we were using in stock. So
That sucks.
yeah.
We're running low anyways.
We were using the wooden coins as our business card, basically.
Yeah, we had like a wooden nickel. It is great.
Yeah.
Those are long
That's a
since
great idea.
gone.
It is.
Yeah, I
you can get
shipped-
poker chips pretty cheap these days, and they'll put QR codes on them.
Oh yeah, we've done the poker.
You guys have a poker chip vibe.
Oh yeah. We've done 3 or 4 different phases of stuff already.
Masonic Chotskis? What's
Yeah,
that?
exactly.
Lapel pins? May I have another?
The wooden
right.
tokens is cool because it feels like you're getting a drink token at a bar,
Oh,
right? When they toss a drink token at you, it's perfect.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
fit our vibe and
Oh.
our aesthetic at the beginning really well.
Um,
We came to Madison and dumped 300 of them up there when we went to the valley,
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Nice.
we did
People
a
were
ton of
throwing them in the urinal, dude. It was dude, they were everywhere.
them. Hey, Maxa, I know you said you got to get going, so if you want to
Yeah.
say goodbye and all that, you
Yeah, no,
feel
guys,
free.
it was a pleasure meeting you. I look forward to looking at podcasts. I haven't watched it yet myself, but I look forward to it. You guys are great. I love it.
Heck yeah. And if
Sweet.
you're ever up our way,
Awesome.
let us know.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure,
for
man.
sure.
For sure. Take
Take
it
it
easy.
easy.
Later,
Have a good one,
man.
Maxa.
Have a good one.
Yeah,
That's funny that
'cause-
you guys are talking about
Nope.
the Valley of Madison. I'm sorry. I just transferred my membership from the Valley of Milwaukee to the Valley of Madison. So
Oh, really?
Oh, wow,
Dude, that's
okay.
Yeah.
awesome. Dude, yeah, we
So,
should
that's pretty
set it
cool.
up for the spring reunion.
Yeah, I was gonna say
yeah, I
if you
gotta
guys
see
got
which
some
weekend that is.
if you guys got some
gotta make you
pull
wanna
over
join the
there.
Scottish Rite.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
I'm
You
in
know,
the
if-
York Rite, but only in chapter and council right now.
Oh, well, dude, you still got high. Oh, you guys don't have high 12 either. We got
No.
something else for you.
Yeah.
Hex I 12.
It's a
Oh,
great
boy.
organization.
Rock will tell you all about it.
Have you guys heard of the Walcott Foundation?
Oh God. Yeah, you'll hear
I
about
got
it.
a
Believe
bell
me,
and
you
a
will.
charter with your name on it.
It's like a lunch club, isn't it?
You can do whatever you want. We have clubs in Tampa that meet at a different brewery every meeting. There's
Nice.
a couple different clubs that like Burning Leaf, they meet at different, or I'm not sure if it's the same cigar bar, but at a couple of really nice cigar establishments.
Burning Leaf.
Um,
I thought that
dude-
was Arlington Heights, not Florida.
yeah. Or there, what's the High 12 one? Whatever the place is, they got a cigar High 12 club that meets here in the Chicagoland area as well. And then, I mean, dude, there's so many. Yeah, there's a few lunch ones that still meet on lunch, but yeah, it's super cool. And the foundation that they run is like a fellowship for George Washington University. So that is so interesting and what George Washington University does and like the students and they go into positions in like the embassy, State Department, Department of Defense, all kinds of cool stuff.
Matt, this was the organization that Bill was going to join when he moved down to Florida.
Oh,
that was
right.
on his seaside or whatever that place was called.
Oh, yeah. His retirement community that I cannot recall the name of. Yeah.
It's literally called like Sea Village or something.
I recall hearing a
Atlantis.
podcast about everything they did with George Washington University. That rings a bell now. Somebody did.
Like
Maybe it was you guys.
Their main charity is that fellowship, contributing to that. Yeah.
Somebody did like a whole episode talking about that. So
yeah.
So do you have any pull over at the Scottish Rite Building?
Mm-mm.
I don't know who has pull at a Scottish Rite Building.
Right.
Well, because hear me out. I was going to say, if you guys want, I know Maxa was saying about going to the building. We can set something up and we can just do a recording there.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't have to be in the next couple of weeks, but
as far as gaining access to the building,
yeah,
probably.
If there was something else going on there, I'm sure they could open another room for us.
I mean, we could
for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, like not sell tickets, but making an event. Sell tickets to the Scottish Rite Building, right? Buy a keg, buy some pizza, tell everyone $5.
Yeah.
So
come on out for a recording.
I keep getting confused because we call it the Wisconsin Masonic Center. So I've never even associated it with the Scottish Rite. So
okay.
The Scottish Rite building that always comes to mind in my head is the one in Milwaukee that got sold years ago.
I know. What a bummer, man.
That building's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wish they wouldn't have let that one go. The Humphrey
Scottish Rite building. Yeah, it's gorgeous with the gargoyles and all that stuff. It's great.
Dude, all the stained glass windows in there and stuff, man. It was epic, dude. In the library, it was really cool.
So they have to rent that building out now, right?
It's like a restaurant or like the housing or something. They've been using it for some sort of business development.
Yeah.
I thought
no longer Masonic affiliated.
Wow. Okay, because Brock, please correct me. I'm probably wrong, but wasn't it that building they said that they were going to rent it out for spring and fall reunions? Was that the Scottish Rite Building?
You're thinking of Bloomington, that the other Scottish Rite
what it is?
Yeah, remember they bought it out, but then they kept an office in the building, and then they're like allowed to use the building for the reunions, but like a theater or something like that.
Yeah, okay. It was them then. All right. I thought it was Wisconsin.
Or a venue or something.
Matt, where does the Scottish Rite meet in Milwaukee?
In a strip mall in Wauwatosa.
Dear God.
Well, they do degrees somewhere else though, don't they? It's like
no, they primarily do they have like a large space in the place next to a couple other like charitable organizations that have like offices or stuff there. But yeah, it's kind of buried. It's a nondescript building. You wouldn't think anything of it. So, but yeah, they do. I went through my spring reunion right there. So they do it all right there. But
yeah, they
it's a lot
had
different than it was when they were downtown.
Yeah, the downtown building had a huge auction like after they moved out, and I bought a ton of stuff from the auction.
What's the best thing?
Dude, I bought like 10 sets of Mackey's encyclopedia, dude. Like, it's like so many copies of the same one, and it was like an online bid. I'm like, yep, I'll take that one, and I'll take that one, and I'll take that one. Then we distributed some of them to our lodge and a couple to the other lodges in the area. But and then as soon as we put them on the lodge shelf, then people are like, "Oh, this is interesting," and then they're gone,
and then they disappear.
Like, oh, shoot. I guess I should have got a couple more copies, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I did get some ritual robes and some of the costumes from the degrees.
That's a
that
good
were,
thing to
like,
grab.
very, very old. So
You
that was
gotta
pretty
grab
cool.
those. They don't even make them anymore like that, and you gotta grab them.
Yeah, and then
Yep.
like the name tag says like Consistory, like Valley of Milwaukee on the tags inside. They're very cool.
Right
I
on.
moved it. I did have a couple of really cool hats from the Scottish Rite degrees as well. So yeah, man, I got a lot of cool stuff out of there.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Someone's got to take advantage of that, and especially being Mason's hands, not just randomly on some guy on an eBay listing or something.
That's where it was going for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I got these like crazy tall crosses too, like that they probably walked in for the degree. I'm like, nobody's gonna buy that. Like,
Right.
like a
Except for
9-foot
me.
pole with a cross with Salem on it. And you're like, what is this?
Yeah, I march around the house with it. Nothing to worry about.
Yeah. Practice my rod work.
But Brock, you bought some of that stuff, the big ornate things that's in the Masonic Lodge before you were a Mason, right?
Oh, some stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I had an altar, a Masonic York Rite altar, probably for 10 years before I was a Mason. I just had it.
Oh,
Had
jeez.
my fish tank on it. I had I had some books on it.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. It's not just like little trinkets.
Yeah.
He had big stuff. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
all he was
lodge
missing was
pieces.
pillars and a
Yeah.
chair. And it would have been set.
Yeah.
You just
that's
stumbled
where-
across the stuff and we're like, yeah, all right, I'll buy that.
Yeah. I've been into all that kind of weird esoteric-y weirdness, for a while. As soon as I heard about it, I was like, wait, what? This all exists? Let me figure this out.
Well, you still kind of are, because when I told
Yeah,
you and Marty a couple months ago, I'm like, dude, the Amethyst bar we were in Louisiana, we sat in the same chair Aleister Crowley did. We sat right there. No kidding. It was like for days we were talking about it. Wow.
Yeah, because Marty was reading a book, and the guy, Aleister Crowley, was talking about his time in New Orleans, and he was like, oh, yeah, I went to this absinthe bar, and I sat right here at the corner of the bar and looked out the window, and Marty's like, holy shit, that's exactly where we were sitting. We went to that same place in the same building, and that's where we were sitting.
So when I was in Granada in Spain, I went to a store that Crowley went to, and bought a Crowley deck there.
Oh!
Even though I'm not even a fan of Crowley.
Yeah,
it's just I mostly
here.
despise him.
Same
I mostly
here, yeah.
despise his philosophy, but
Yeah.
still a big influence in occultism.
Correct.
And so I was like, it's still cool to go to those spots. And that dude was like, he was speaking all in Spanish, and I'm okay in Spanish sometimes. So I got it, but he was just like, Crowley this, Crowley that, here. And I was like, maybe there's not he wasn't here, but this guy's just been running with it because he knew he lived in Granada. But, I don't care. So I bought
in Granada.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a collector of the stuff, but I'm not like a Thelemite or anything, but I love reading the books. And I even love reading the poetry, and the more rank and disgusting, I find it more hilarious and just interesting, because I just think of him being like, think of him in the early 1900s being like, I'm writing this and it's so punk rock. Everybody just doesn't even know how punk rock I am.
Like what was that one you sent me about Cecilia's fart?
Anarchist.
He's such an edgelord. He's just like, yeah, dude.
When Cecilia's farts quake. This crazy shit where you're like, bro, he's talking about his mistress farting, dude. This is bizarre.
So the crazy thing with him, so a couple of months ago, I was at a lodge. They had a new member. He's probably 20. And he's very occult, but very young at the same time. And he's very into Thelema. And he's like, dude, and he finds that I have interest in the same topic. And he's like, dude, what do you think about my favorite guy, Aleister Crowley? And I was like, you don't want me to say it.
Gotta get
I was like, you don't want me to say it. And I was like, I think he's an asshole. Like, I think that he looked at a bunch of armchair scholars and was like, you know what? I'm going to wear black and be a vampire, and I'm going to and just like be as rogue as possible. Like, I should be able to do whatever I want. I'm so narcissistic. And you're like, heck yeah, Crowley, get after it, dude.
Well, didn't you hear about like the magical battles where they're like, he's like fighting his mentor and they're like casting spells on each other, and you're like, dude, this is so dope. It's like cosplay,
I would love to watch that. Yeah, you'd just be staring at them like, what are you guys doing? And like, we're really into it now. Yeah, right.
I was
How
gonna
he
say, does it
got
look like the
Yeah.
end scene of Dinner for Schmucks? Where
Fireball.
Fireball.
We're in a battle of wits.
So funny. Yeah, I mean, there's so many cool, like esoteric guys like that, man. That like John Yarker or like Carl Kellner. There's like older people in that OTO current that are really cool. That like or like H.P. Randolph, or Beverly. What's his name? Beverly Randolph. He's like one of the first like African American dudes who was like into sex magic and all this crazy stuff,
Oh,
and it's
God.
like, yeah, those are the people that Crowley heard about through the grapevine, and we're like, man, I want to meet these people. Or, he wrote like stuff
This
in
could
his
make
book
me
of
really
lies
punk
and
rock.
yeah. He's like, oh, I'm gonna get the attention of these guys.
I'm more into like the Paul Foster Case type of
Yes,
boring guys. I'm
dude,
more of the
all Foster
boring
Case, all the
occultism.
Boda stuff is awesome, dude. Yeah, I love the
Yep.
Boda stuff.
I was a member of Boda for a long time.
Oh, really?
Oh, what's
Dude,
that like?
that's cool.
Just a bunch of tarot stuff. And it
Yeah.
just like he just got really into it. And he just like, of all the things that you could focus on, he's like this. And he's like, I'm just autistic enough to focus only on tarot forever.
But dude,
And you're
he's
like,
a good
great.
break off though, like he was in the
Yep.
current and then broke it off, but like still holds it, and like that's cool.
It still has a similar energy, right? Like a
Yeah,
similar
yeah.
vibe. Yeah, I like that boringer style. I don't like the punk rocker who's like, what if I could just do whatever I want? And you're like, nice, dude.
You're talking like the chaos magic dudes who are just like, yeah, man, I believe it and it does it. Yeah.
Yep. I like the old and boring. It's the same things I like in Masonry and in a lot of my stuff. I just like so I got my degree in college in anthropology. So like I just like looking at the philosophies and the cosmologies and how are people thinking about their relationships with the world and with deity and et cetera, et cetera. So I just eat that stuff up forever.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome, man. Like even symbolism in Freemasonry, we just interviewed you guys interviewed him too.
Raymond E. Foster.
The
Ah, yes.
inner temple.
Yeah, Raymond E. Foster.
But
Yep.
we were talking to him about oh man, now we're trying to think of his yeah. I was just trying to think of his name. Now I lost the thought that we were talking about with him, but
Symbolism.
oh dang.
Yeah, we talked about
Alright, so
symbolism. We talked
yeah.
about a bunch of stuff. I'm
Oh
editing it
yeah.
now.
But like why symbolism in Freemasonry, and like how the unconscious mind, how like symbolism speaks to it, and like the relationship
Like very Jungian.
and yeah.
Mhm. Well, what got me I was into tarot before Masonry, and then Masonry got me more into tarot because of symbols. And so like that opened up for me not only be interested in Masonic symbols, which I love unpacking and looking at, but the symbols used commonly in general art that you see used, especially if you're looking at medieval and stuff. Like they use common symbols which have spelled into Masonry and into tarot. And like they all have similar meanings. And the thing that I like about it is if you just tell somebody like, hey man, hey Brock, be a good guy. You're like, thanks. And you're like, I'll do my best, coach. But when you can tie something to a symbol that you can interact with, it allows your own mind to contemplate, because it's not as black and white as like, okay, I can just repeat the words, be a good guy, be a good guy, be a good guy. Nothing, you don't get any feedback from that. But a symbol allows you to actually go, well, this means this, and why would it mean that? What does that mean for me? And all that stuff. So it allows you to actually have something that's like a little bit easier to integrate or actually to engage your mind with. And I think, we still use symbols in the modern era in advertising and various things to have similar results. But when it comes to why Masonry keeps it, is because it works, because it's a good system to actually teach philosophical ideas, because the symbol reminds you of its meaning. So it holds a place. You don't have to go and flip through a book to remember what it means. You've already ascribed it to the symbol, and it allows you to unpack it in your own interpretations in a way that can really help you contemplate, maybe I should be a good guy, and here's why, and this is how, and stuff like that, especially in the context of Masonry.
Yeah,
It's our hieroglyphs. I mean, that's why we have them.
pictures a
That's why
thousand
we have the
words.
posters. You know, when
Yeah,
we have the
yeah.
posters, like in our lodge, when we're
Trestle
teaching
boards.
the new guy everything that's going on, we have him on a poster, right? And it all means something to us, but to the uninitiated, they don't really know what that all means, and they're not going
It's just
to.
pretty.
It's a whole story. It's not one picture, as the poster is one picture. It's not all one picture. To us, we know that. The uninitiated, they don't. Well, now they do because I just spilled the beans.
I think they always knew that there was something that was trying to tell a story. They just don't have the key to understand it.
Right. Could be.
See, this is why I
Something
keep
like,
Andrew around. He's the brains,
Yeah.
I'm the beauty.
Yeah, Brock and Marty are the esoteric guys. I think we're all pretty much like in comedy relief, but we all have our different takes on things. Like, okay, I'll ask you guys because I've asked them a number of times. When it comes to the third degree, who is the worshipful master? In the third degree ceremony, who is the worshipful master?
Trying to figure out if I'm even allowed to say it.
I'll
Matt, you're in the grad lodge.
I will erase anything. Like on this, I'll bleep that out. That's not a big deal.
I would say that
Okay. Matt?
I would probably agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. So why wasn't he allowed to give the rest of the word to a new guy? It's a whole mystery. Now, if somebody just says it's
have you done
allegory,
the
it's fine, no big deal. But
have you done the York rite?
yes. But here's the thing. Those degrees did not exist when the third degree was made. So they didn't know all these other degrees were going to happen and explain it. So at that time and in that time period only, who is the worshipful master? Because they need to get the key from, but when they get it, they can't translate it. Why wouldn't the worshipful master be able to do that?
True. Or were
good
none
question.
of them? All three of them were on the level. They were all.
But
Was the master at the completion of the degree?
well,
Mhm.
you know, I don't know, but we have the three. We have the junior warden, senior warden, and the worshipful master, and then so everything goes together.
Now, if we wanted a historical reason for probably why this wasn't filled out, the Master Mason degree being the most recent of the ones to be created, wasn't really even agreed upon or defined on what the perfect ritual was for it until 1854 at the Baltimore Convention. That was when we finally ironed it out in the U.S. Like, guys, we got to stop being so different all the time. We're looking like the UK. And we semi-standardized most of the things. At that point, the York Rite was already kicking around too. So if you think about it, I feel like a lot of the degrees were, I mean, if you look at when the Master Mason came out, we can find first evidence of it existing. It was not very long before the York Rite came out. It was just them going, I think we made some plot holes. You just go,
Could be.
I think we had some plot holes we need to like figure out here. I mean, that's the thing is there's this mystery over Masonry, like all these degrees are 1,000,000 years old. Some proto versions of them are definitely older. And the Fellowcraft was the Master Mason degree for a long time. There was no Master Mason degree. And there's some evidence that would state that some of the rituals and stuff around that was inspired by older versions of those two degrees. The Master Mason is firmly not modern by our standards, but a more modern Masonic creation to kind of tie everything together and finish, like to seal the story in a proper way. So I would argue that it was people trying to go, we have these pieces that we've been inspired by. Let's try to seal the deal and make something impactful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer, but I was just one day just sitting here thinking like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. Now,
That is a curious question.
yeah, I don't
I
know if
agree
it's
with
one
that.
of those things that it's like a bait and switch, so you start searching for things. I have no idea. It's just I just kind of want everybody's opinion.
I mean, there is a lot of parts of Masonry that are left ambiguous on purpose to force you to search for things. So
Correct.
it's not a bad thought to have either. They purposely did that to us in a lot of spots.
Right. Like Eureka.
Now you do it.
Yeah.
And
Eureka.
Well, and that's
You know who
Nope.
originally said Eureka?
Who?
Archimedes.
Yep.
It wasn't Pythagoras. Well, I did this interview with Christopher Earnshaw, and he wrote all these books. And he's like, why would they put these in there? Well, at the time, the education system, we're teaching them about these people. And they would have known, that was Archimedes. Pythagoras didn't say that. So, but they've got no time to stop because the ritual keeps going. We explain more things. So you can't interrupt the ritual. So then you might forget about it. And then you might think about it later and then go look for it. Wait a minute. I know I wasn't, was I, thinking something wrong? And you go look it up to find out the truth.
Well, and if you think about it too, like the orders of architecture is pretty not historically accurate, but you have to remember this was written in the 1700s. And so like the research has gotten significantly better, but it still holds up symbolically. The history
Sure.
part you can look at a little bit with more of an eyebrow raise, but the symbology still works really, really well. But when you look at, like in some degrees where they're like, hey man, you want to know more about masonry? Study geometry. And then you're like, I'm not going to do that. And like, well, if you did, you'd understand a lot more of what we're trying to tell you. And you're like, yep. And even if you look a little bit into Euclidean geometry or sacred geometry or Pythagorean, and you mess around even just tiptoeing around those, you start to go, oh, that's why this is here. Oh, that's why we do it like that. That's why we like triangles. That's why we like this. And it really unlocks it. And they explain it to us pretty heavy-handedly in a lot of places, like, boys, study geometry. And you're like, seems too hard. You're like, I don't need to know it.
All you have to do is watch Donald Duck in Mathmagic Land. That's all it
Yeah,
takes. Just
that's a
watch
good
that.
one though. Yeah.
Plug for our sponsor, Donald Duck and Math Magic Land.
Awesome Mason.
Mhm.
I mean, but it makes sense that masonry left stuff like that open-ended, and it asks the mason to go seek out the knowledge themselves because, we're supposed to be about self-improvement and introspection and everything else. And what is going to foster the development of that more than leaving mysteries that you have to solve yourself and have conversations about or go looking for answers?
Yeah, it's definitely part of the ancient mysteries.
Well, and every ancient mystery always taught an internal responsibility. And the one we have in masonry is to be seekers of light, right? We talk about that quite a bit in various degrees. And so it makes sense that they leave light to be seeked within the degrees to be like, hey, you got to start here too. Because really the goal of Masonic degrees is to inspire somebody, try to be an inspiration for change, an inspiration to do something. And by leaving things to be found, they start there, pull that thread, pull that thread, pull that thread. Then they start pulling threads on other things. And, at the end of the day, you can't truly be a free and accepted Mason, meaning somebody who is able to free themselves from the binds of manipulation, if you don't have a large base of knowledge. And so, as Masons, we're supposed to be lovers of light, lovers of learning, seekers of truth. That is, in my opinion, to give us freedom. Because if you don't have that, you're easily manipulated or confused or, whatever it might be. Study geometry.
I was waiting to see who was going to break the silence.
I was like, Wes, I think you're muted.
He definitely is.
Yep.
Oh yeah, because I was coughing. So that doesn't help. So where are you guys headed now with the podcast?
I talked a lot, Matt. You're going to do something here.
No, I was getting ready to answer that because I was thinking about it. So we don't really make hard plans when it comes to the podcast. We just kind of we wing it. I shouldn't say we've never fully scripted an episode. We've done research at times or something, maybe a little bit of preparation, but for the most part, we just been going into this thing, winging it and seeing where it lands. So this year we're gonna try to get back to doing some more interviews and stuff like that. But we're just happy to be providing stories of Masons and hopefully giving people some valuable nuggets out of the conversations that we have with other people that they can bring into their lodge or into their life as a Mason and find it useful. You know, if we manage to help one person with some little bit of knowledge, that's good enough for me. So
We're your professionally unprofessional Masonic podcast. That's our tagline.
Hey,
Yep.
We're pros at
pretty
being
professional,
unprofessional.
though, man. You guys always have a good topic. All your guys is like your little screenshots for all the photo. You know, when it pops up on my phone, man, there's a nice little screenshot of you guys, a cool little animation. It's like everything's always done up super nice, man. The description's always really good, and I'm like, hell yeah, man.
Yeah, I have fun with the descriptions. I make them as chaotic as possible.
Hey, I read them though, man. When I'm at work and I'm like going through, and I'm like, all right, I got like 10 Masonic podcasts to listen to in like 3 days. How am I going to structure these? So I'll go through and list them like back to back. All right, this is interviews. I don't want to do 10 interviews in a row. So I'll like space them up, you know, and throw a couple of random podcasts in here and there.
Sandwich them, get a palate cleanser in the middle, go back to it.
Yeah. I'm all day.
So then you're a podcast junkie like I am, huh,
Oh
bro?
yeah, all day, every day. Yeah, when I get home, it's that's where my silence is. You know, well, I guess my 2 kids aren't really helping with the silence, but yeah. If I'm at work, whatever I'm thinking about doing, and then I got the podcast going. Yeah,
Right.
I need to get back into my podcast game. I was in it for a long time, and then I've been on then I was on the audiobook game for a while, and I was going down audiobook rabbit holes. Then now somehow I've gotten trapped in a rabbit hole I wasn't expecting, and I'm watching people play D&D on YouTube 24/7. That was not my best route. I've been able to play Dungeons and Dragons in about 3 or 4 years, but somehow I got stuck down that hole now, and I've been really into it. So I'm stuck in there.
That's how my action figure collecting got out of control, man. Is I had a small shelf in my garage where I would work on my Honda, and then I had a couple Hot Wheels up there, and then my parents were like, here's all your old action figures from when you were a kid. What do you want to do with them? I'm like, I'll take them and put them in my garage. And then it just started growing. And then I started being like, well, I'm only like 2 figures to complete that. So maybe I'll look out for those. And then I started watching people on YouTube. I'm like, well, I need to go to the flea markets. I need to be going to the toy show. There's toy shows? Like, yeah, man. Then it just, then there's like dedicated shops to just toys and vintage toys. So, like when I went to the Madison Scottish Rite 2 years ago, I stepped out at lunch and went to one of the toy shops and like a little antique market that was going on in Madison, fully in my suit and tie. And I just showed up. I'm like, yo, I got like 30 minutes, man, to pick this place.
Jeez.
I'm addicted. Yeah. Yeah. And then now that I sold my track car, all I have is my Honda Fit, and I don't really track that. So like now I don't have any other outlet but Freemasonry. And now that it's cold, I'm like, oh no, I'm stuck in my house. Yeah, it's been a problem. Yeah, these guys have been dealing with it. I just took like all these figures out and got like a new case off of Facebook Marketplace from some lady and like put some lights in it. I've been addicted.
So, Brock, I got bad news for you. About what would probably be for you an hour and 10 minutes away in Milwaukee, there's a store called Abella's Bargain Store. I'm posting a link for you.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know what this was, but if you like action figures, it's some mix between a museum and a store, in my opinion. Everything's for sale, but it seems like your wall behind you is the entire store.
Oh,
and
that's
it
my kind of
is
place.
unbelievable. It is so filled. I sent you a link. It has an unbelievable amount of that stuff that you have behind you.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
wall to wall.
And I've been
You can barely walk in there.
like into the Japanese stuff now. So like now I'm learning all the Japanese words for the action figures and how to find them and the different styles and the manufacturing and what makes them different by manufacturer. Yeah.
Oh boy.
The artist.
You are lost down the rabbit hole.
Yeah. Well, now you know how I ended up in Freemasonry. I'm like, oh, there's a degree, and then this guy made it up, and this comes out of this, and this is from the Royal Order of Scotland, and this came around from here, but it's Scottish Rite, but then their French degree, and you know, yeah, dude, you just
pull the thread.
Yeah, man, I'm a good thread puller. Yeah.
So I'm glad I keep my hobbies simple: Harleys and archery.
Yeah, dude,
The
I
native
love
planting.
your the one from Deer Camp and from the Turkey Camp, man. Those podcasts were awesome.
Oh, those were so fun. We
Yeah,
have such a great
such a
crew
cool
for
thing.
that, though.
And your trip when you guys did the motorcycle trip down to the cave degree, that was
Oh.
Yeah.
awesome to hear about.
Sturgis, yeah. All
We've been
that.
wanting to do the
Everybody
was
needs
fun.
to go to cave.
Yeah, we've been wanting to
Everybody
do it
needs to go
so
to cave.
bad.
It's
I think I'll be
that's
going
a
in 2
stellar
years.
trip.
I think 2 years. I think I'll be going. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
think
got
I'm
to make
going
it
again
down
this
there.
year.
Yeah, now that I can walk decently, I'd like to go to that cave degree.
Yeah, bring a steak on the way down just in case.
Yeah, bring a couple.
How old is Mike? We got what? We got a 75-year-old with 2 fake knees all the way up and into the cave. So I think you can do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, as long as he can walk, that's fine. I think that was a brother who passed away a couple of years ago, Jack Buffalo. I think he went and they had to carry him up there. I'm like, oh my God, Dad, I don't want anybody to do that for me. That's no one's problem but mine. So, but now that I can walk,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
more than willing to do it.
We
What was it?
didn't carry him. He made his way in there. So that other guy, that's a cool story though. If people carried him in so he could see it, that's a cool story.
Yeah, and I heard it's kind of a hike. It's not easy to get up
It's a
there.
little bit. It's a little
So,
bit. It's
yeah.
more uneven than like it's not like necessarily steep hills or anything, but it's unsure footing, I would say, is the biggest problem.
So a couple more questions about the podcast. Since you guys started, what is the best compliment you guys have received?
Oh, can I take this, Andrew? Can I take this? So most worshipful Dave Ritchie, who was the one that originally gave us the 3-month trial and then told us to keep going, has become one of our biggest fans. And there is 2 podcasts in Wisconsin Freemasonry. There's Further Light that's put on by the Education Committee. It's the official podcast of the Grand Lodge of Wisconsin. And there's our podcast. And Dave Ritchie told me one time when he was going out and visiting lodges, he always told the lodges that there's 2 podcasts in Wisconsin. If you want education, you listen to Further Light. If you want to learn what Freemasonry is really about, you listen to Time for Fellowship.
Yeah, that's
That is-
awesome.
That's a nice
It's gonna be hard to
compliment.
top.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard to top. What was my best compliment?
Yeah, man, masonry in action.
Well, and that's the thing is, it's like I'm a big esoterics guy. I love it. I love studying it. But esoterics is something Masons do, but Masonry isn't in books. Masonry is here. You're doing it, right? And so that's one thing that I was passionate about is like, even esoteric Masons are bringing that knowledge into their lives and living it. But, if you're just reading books all the time, it goes, that sounds great on paper, but what is it like to be a Mason? Like we're not an ancient order like the Dionysians or something that have disappeared and we don't know. We're here. We're right here, right now. And so you can learn from Masons by just seeing what Masons are doing. And that's like the living expression. So I don't have a better compliment than that. I can't even think of one. That one, and especially one that's going to be better than that one.
Right. That one's hard to top. That was
Yeah, that's
that was
awesome.
very moving when he told me that. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you guys have a great show,
I don't think
man.
there's a
You're
better
killing it.
compliment than that from. Yeah, I enjoy it. I think. Well, okay. How does the number? Are you guys on Buzzsprout?
Yep.
Yep.
How does the numbers work? Because here's the thing. I noticed that sometimes, like, I don't download your episodes. I just listen to them. So do those count as downloads or just as listens? And if so, just listens, where is that metric?
My understanding is it counts it still. They just call it downloads because that used to be the old lingo they would use on podcasts because you used to always have to download them.
Uh-huh.
So my understanding is there. The other thing that I think is true, and I've heard from other podcasts, is I don't know how accurate these numbers are. Because I
I
think
would
with
say,
all of the various platforms, the directories you're on, right? Like on Buzzsprout, it just sends it to all of these various platforms: Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podcasts, Deezer. I'm seeing right here. Never heard of any of these. Never heard of any of these.
these
Yeah.
podcasts.
I know we're
That-
on a bunch I have never heard of either. So
My understanding is that some play better with others. So like some are reporting easier to Buzzsprout and others are harder. So what I feel like when I'm looking at these reviews is it's really heavily pulling accurately the Spotify's and the bigger brands, like the classic podcast ones. And then the other ones are just a little bit more hit or miss. Like if you're looking at, you know, if I'm looking right here, it'll be like, yeah, here's all we got. But it just seems like probably the most accurate ones are Apple Podcast and Spotify, and the rest are probably hit or miss. That's my understanding. But I don't know. I'd like to believe.
yeah, I'm starting to think. I'm like, maybe we're a little bit more popular than I think we are. Because I seen something that now I can find it on my phone right now. I can't find it. For whatever reason, we are popular in Germany.
Our number two of all time is Singapore. Singapore loves us, followed by Canada, then the UK.
Really?
A lot of Masons in Singapore. A lot of Masons in Singapore.
Yeah, we got Germany, Canada, Australia, which is pretty funny since Australia's main Masonic page kicked us out. United Kingdom and Singapore. We got Greece and India too. Couple in Japan.
Dude, you two guys in Japan, I love you guys. Keep watching the show, man.
Yeah, and I'm just like, because at one point I seen like 688, and it said within the last like 10 days. I'm like, well, is that downloads? And it was all from Germany. So,
well, the good news is we're not pulling anywhere near those numbers. So,
oh no, I'm like not trying to,
No. So one thing I've always said, and I always tell Matt's a little more competitive than I am on that front, is I barely even look at our numbers, and I go, dude,
I never look at them. Yeah.
I go, the moment I care about like, oh, how are we gonna like pump our numbers? I just go, you know what? We're not getting paid. I've never done it for the cloud. If we're doing it because we love doing it,
right?
And if
Yeah, that's why we do it.
If that reflects in our show, and that reflects in bringing joy to our listeners, then the scoreboard will count itself. Like, I'm not going to get popular just by trying to be popular. I'm going to get popular by just doing something that I like to do,
Right.
and people like to take that journey with me.
Yeah, if they like it, they like it. Great. I mean, that's what we're gonna do. But
And I always wonder if it's new listeners, and then like, because somebody will listen to us for 2 or 3 years, and then they don't subscribe to us anymore. But then like we pick up new listeners, and then they're active, and then they comment a lot, or people will message us and be like, "Oh, I haven't watched in a year. I just caught up on an episode." Blah 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 blah, and you're like, well, then, if the numbers are still going, how come there's less people listening? But so people are discovering it and coming across it. So that's why I was kind of wondering how you guys got word of mouth out, or like, because we don't really do much advertising, really. It's just if you hear about us, or you search it and you see
your social media is on point.
Yeah.
The meme page.
Well, there's a meme page for sure. But it wasn't always like that. Yeah.
I love the memes. I love them.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah. No, I do. You guys do an amazing job with your social media. Absolutely.
That's all Wes,
I
man.
enjoy it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. It's fun, and sometimes it's a little like, well, what am I going to do today? I don't know. I make one. I'm like, oh, this will go far, and doesn't go anywhere. I'm like, oh, this sucks. I ain't going to go anywhere. And everyone's like, oh, I love it. I'm like, I don't understand how to do anything correctly. So I just put it out there. And if it
none
goes,
of us do.
Goes.
You just throw it to the wall, throw it against the wall, and see if it sticks when it comes to posting on some of these platforms.
Yeah, but
shout into the wind.
I don't know if it's just because of me listening to Masonic podcasts or what, but I think we're growing as creators, as Masonic creators, and
Oh yeah, I
Just
think
talking
so.
about Freemasonry, I think, is going to shine the fraternity in a better light than what it was. Get us out of almost that basement dweller type thing, and like, hey, we can ask guys to be Masons. We think it would be a great organization for you. If you don't, hey, come on out, have dinner with us, just get to know us. Maybe you'll get a different opinion of us. I think
Well,
this is a great start for all that.
nice to Masonic podcasts present a good front door for new people on the internet. And with everybody, especially younger generations, being so tech focused, like how we kind of talk about how we kind of made a mistake by not being the first ones to talk about masonry on the internet. Now we're kind of playing catch up to tell everybody
To
the
the
story.
conspiracy
But
theorist.
yeah, if
Mhm.
people find us now, that's for the better. And if with all the Masonic podcasts communicating and kind of homies with one another, we tell somebody else in our state about a different state, and then that kind of spreads the word in the podcast because we get people that listen to us in Illinois, but we get people that listen to. I would say we have more fans outside of Illinois than we do in Illinois, but I don't know.
Well, and
Yeah,
I think the thing is that's important about this is these types of endeavors is Masonry has always evolved while maintaining its traditions, right? So the core stuff always stays the same, but the way it expresses itself has always grown with the era that it's in. And with the age gap that we saw after the World War II boom and then fall, there was kind of a gap generation where we fell behind because that generation wasn't joiners. So the younger generation is now coming in and being like, we need to be doing the things that people in this current generations, the younger-ish people, are doing. And we need to be speaking in those places and sharing because, how many people read a newspaper and are see an ad anymore? So we have to be that front page. And I think what's cool about podcasts like ours is it's very palatable, it's very human. And so when somebody goes, "Oh, I saw this weird stuff online. Let me listen to this podcast." And these guys are just laughing and talking about gardening or whatever, and they're talking about masonry and what it means to them and how it's changed them. It's like, oh, well, that wasn't what I was expecting. And you're like, yeah. And so it's cool because it just shines a very human light on it, on how there's there's too much mythology around masonry, which I love. That makes it sound like it's this crazy, secret, awesome, like weird thing. And it's like, it's not that, but it is awesome. And you're like, so like it shows like the ability to go, well, it's not the new world order, but there is an old guy that I like to talk to sometimes. And you're like, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And I think that's important is to show, especially when you hear those stories of like what brothers do for one another and what masonry means to people, it really shows how it feels to be a Mason. And I think there's a lot to offer there. And I think people are drawn to it because like, that sounds nice. And you're like, yeah, it is nice.
Yeah,
Most
that
of the time.
story you guys had about the brother who donated and then the brother who received and then the doctor who was the surgeon. I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, what a
that was pretty cool.
story, man."
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't even write that. It was crazy
No,
that the doctor just happened to be a Mason. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing story. Great podcast.
Yeah, those two are both awesome brothers, and that was a great story, and it's just crazy how that all ended up playing out. Who would have guessed that the donor would have ended up being another brother, and then to have the surgeon like also be one. That was just insane. That was
His
that-
his kidney could not be passed except for in the company of three. The doctor, one brother, and another brother.
right.
Yep.
Uh,
So
Well, and
getting all
Yep.
these stories out there, all these wonderful stories about the fraternity. Do you feel like with the podcast that you're more of a influencer, podcaster, or do you feel you're just trying to influence people into the fraternity as a Mason?
I think the podcast has influenced me in how I've gone about my masonry in my life more than anything else. It's forced me to think about masonry on a different level and more often, right? You can never really get it off your brain. You're thinking about the next episode. You're thinking about the next topic. You're thinking about what you're going to say about different symbols or different allegories and stuff like that, or even how you're going to have a conversation about Masonry with somebody else and where that might take you. And it's improved my speaking skills. It's improved my listening skills. It's improved, what podcasting has done for me is something that I can never give back to Masonic podcasting. I can be somebody that's along for the ride and gets people's stories recorded for future generations to hear. But much like with Masonry, what it's given me is more than I can ever give it.
So for me, I wouldn't consider myself an influencer. I wouldn't consider myself a recruiter. I'm a little more orthodox on that Masonry, where I think I would never ask someone to be a Mason, but I want us to be visible so that someone interested knows how to find us. That's kind of where my road sits. But so for me, I would like to believe that through the power of fellowship and conversation, I'm a talk thinker. So I have to talk to think. And so not only does that help me think about things as like stream of consciousness flows out of my mouth like word vomit, it's that in that word vomit, there's sometimes, especially with a good guest or with Matt or whoever it is, there's a lot of nuggets where I'm like, oh, that's kind of helpful. And like, especially when we're talking about like lodge culture and like, what it should feel to be a lodge? How should we do this the best we can do? Like, my hope is that the podcast inspires listeners to either if they are maybe been away from the craft for a while, to be like, God, that kind of makes me miss it. And you be like, go see your lodge, or inspire them to make changes or updates or stuff like that. A lot of ideas I've gained from my lodge, I've thought of on podcast episodes where someone's like, I've been doing this. And you're like, oh, that's kind of a good idea. So my hope is that by spreading the stories and conversations of fellowship with the greater fraternity, that it can have a positive influence on the fraternity itself. I guess that makes me an influencer, but not. No, I don't. I don't do the.
I'm not an influencer, but influencer.
I don't do the. Scratchy fingies on my glass type of influencing. You know what I mean? I'm not an ASMR influencer like everyone else.
You're not doing ASMR videos, Andrew.
Like every other influencer is doing now. Flex. And you're like, whoa.
So, all right. When it comes to Freemasonry and your Grand Lodge in particular, if there's one thing you would change in Freemasonry within your jurisdiction, what would that be?
You want me to go first, Andrew?
I'm thinking. You go for it.
All right. I want to be able to conduct business on any degree, not just the Master Mason.
Oh,
yeah.
I know you guys get to do that, bud. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, in Wisconsin, we can only hold stated communications and ballot and all that in the MM. So
does that ever come up for vote to change in the bylaws of the Grand Lodge at annual communications?
It has come up a couple times, and it's gotten buried in like jurisprudence or esoterics a couple of times. And the one time it did get called to a vote, the room was pretty much split right down the middle. It was close. It was,
and at
really
that time
close.
too, it was like a rush vote too. And
yeah.
It's a constant topic. It's still there, and I think it's going to continue to be there. For me, now this is going to sound bad. I want so posting used to be harder. We made it easier. I want it to be harder. And the only way that posting, now here's the caveat. This is going to tie into Matt's. The only way that posting can be harder is if we can do business in the EA degree. So you can take your time with it more because you're not unable to participate in the lodge until you become an MM. Now, what do I mean by harder? Doesn't necessarily mean the memory work has to be harder. I'm saying I want there to be more involved in the mentorship process, so that if I go up to an MM and I say, hey, what's the symbol mean? And that MM goes, I don't know. And I go, there's a failure in our system. And we've all ran into that where like some people care more about it, some don't, and they're both MMs, and you're like, but you don't even understand the basics. I would like there to be a stronger mentorship program that is a requirement. That could be writing short paper, not long. You don't even put a page requirement, like 1 page or something on something you're thinking about, some sort of presentation, some way to engage more with the education element in the system. See, that's bad. I like to, and it's convenient that I wouldn't have to do it, but I'd love to enforce it on people.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, congratulations, dude, on Worshipful Master, man.
Thank you.
Yes, forgot to say that in the beginning of the episode. That's how I wanted to start it, and we all started being sarcastic. So
yeah, I'm like, we got to get up there, man. We would love to come up and come to a meeting, man. I just want to see how everything works because I listened to your guys' podcast and hear like, well, we know that if we start cooking at this time and we flip the eggs by this time, that they'll be done with this time. And I'm like, dude, they got when they flip the eggs written down, man. Like every into the half cup. And then like just how every officer is defined, like this officer is in charge of this, and also this group and this meeting and this function. And then this officer, he's also in charge of this paired with this. And then this guy. And I'm like, it's so structured and so like, this guy holds this guy's hand through here. And then like, it's such a good system, man, that like, and then everything's written down where it's like, it's foolproof. Ours is like, well, hopefully the guy who dropped out the year before that maybe somebody will tell you something.
So that is a unique thing. Like there is some structure in Wisconsin Masonry on what everyone does, but that's a lake building thing that I think we've been building over the last, 7 years, probably more.
Yeah, I mean, the foundation was there prior to 7 years, but we've been really focusing and ramping it up. Yeah.
It's so impressive. I'm going to come up there and steal that book. Yeah.
I can send you my officer. Well, I'm gonna make. I've lost.
Yeah, we need a copy.
I'll send you the officer. I'll send you my officer's breakdown that I put together. It's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, that's the fun thing is, you should definitely come up. It's actually not that long of a drive.
No,
I always think Chicago is farther.
Yeah,
but now that we're on the south side, it's actually not that far. I found it's like an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If traffic permits, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, you should come on up. It's fun. It's crazy though. In my first, is this my first month? I guess because I was installed on the 11th or 12th. I've already had to start planning 2 degrees. Today, I did a funeral service for a brother who passed away. He was 95. I used to drive him to lodge all the time, so I wanted to do the service, but I'd never done one. Now, here's the challenge in the room.
I thought you were going to say it's all right because I was tired of driving him to lodge or something.
A very Catholic room, and I'm Catholic too, but Catholics don't really like Masons that much most of the time. I'm a Catholic, I get it. And so when I was doing the service, there was a guy in the front row just mean mugging me so hard, and he was 4 feet from me, just mean mugging. So every time my eyes looked up, I just see this guy going. And I'd say, okay, back to work. But so I did my Masonic service today, which was fun to do for the first time.
Dude, congrats. That's wild.
Hit the ground running.
That's like a hard thing to do. I don't even know if I could like emotionally even do that, man. Shoot. I went to a couple Masonic funerals this last year for my first time ever. And seeing it all, I was like, well, like being a Mason and going for somebody I knew who had passed, and seeing it all and being like, somebody young too, where you're like, oh man, this is wild, but it's just such a moving experience, man. It's just wild. And to see a huge show of Masons, when you have like 60 guys show up and you're like, the family, everybody's just like, wait, what? This is impressive. Who are these guys? And they care so much, and the memorization and
the cool thing is too, the ritual around the service is like really thought-provoking too, which is pretty cool. I mean, on this one, I thought I was going to cry, but honestly, Brother Don was 95. He had lived a full life. I've heard every inch of his life. He's told me the entire story from birth to death now. So I've known every moment about what he's done. He was in World War II, up in Newfoundland, splicing lines for the military, and he's done tons of stuff. Cool. I thought I was going to be sad, but I looked at him, I was like, this guy did it all, man. And I was like, it's 95, it's it's not the same as when it's someone that's younger where you're like, what? That's impossible. Like, so it was sad, but I was happy that I was able to take part in his final honors, and we had a good turnout of people too, which was cool to send him off in proper form.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You just
So
hope at
beautiful.
the end at that age that they go peacefully and there's no complications. That's all you can hope for.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, Don was still coming to lodge up until what, like 3 or 4 months ago. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
Wow.
kind of started ghosting me
Yeah.
3 or 4 months ago. He started ghosting me.
Oh, maybe he
And
got
so
sick
then
of you driving him then.
No, then I sent a brother. So his wife is also having health issues,
Oh.
which I think that's what did him in.
Mm.
Is the stress of that. But he stopped like answering. I leave him voicemails all the time. I was like, he always calls me back. He called me Deuces because my phone number ends in all 2s. He'd be like, who's this? And it's Andrew. He's like, who's Andrew? And I go, I'm the guy who drives you every month. And he just goes, Deuces? And I go, that's me. And I sent a brother to his house to check on him. I was like, you guys go make sure he's doing okay. And he was just sitting on the patio. He's like, what do you want? And then we're like, are you alive? He's like, I'm good. And we're like, all right, well, answer Andrew's calls. And then his wife was like, oh, I keep getting the voicemails and forgetting. And I was like, oh, the wife's forgetting the lodge voicemails. I see how it is. So sad I couldn't have one more ride. The day I got the email that he passed, I had a reminder on my phone to call him the next day for lodge. And you know, the workman had been called.
Yeah,
It was
right.
fine. He lived a full life. It was a good service.
He did.
It's good. Good that he had a nice long life, and sounds like you guys enjoyed his company a lot. So
He was a crazy person, but in a good way.
He was Don. He was quietly loud.
He
Or
whispered
loudly
very
quiet.
loudly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He would do this thing where he'd get pissed if he didn't speak loud enough in lodge. And especially during someone doing their give back. And so the
Right.
person's super nervous and he'd be like, what? And then
Speak
he'd
up.
like, yeah, he'd yell at him. And then at the end, this one guy was speaking so quietly that he stands up there. He's like, I got something to say. He goes, young man, you're just becoming a Mason. And you better start speaking loud and proud. And I was like, oh my God.
I love that. I'm going to use that now, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
putting
awesome.
that on.
Yep. He was a fun character, but yeah, he had great stories, great brother. He was definitely a stable character in our lives that was always rolling around, and yeah, we're gonna miss him. The
For
crazy
sure.
old coot.
Well, I only got a couple more questions. Brock, do you have anything before finish this off? We've been going for an hour and 32 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, not much, man. Yeah, it's just cool to get to meet you guys and talk to you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, for sure. This has been fun.
Yeah, it's
Dude,
good to
all right,
see you
I
guys
wanna
again.
share
Just hear your voices.
one
I'm
here.
like, man.
Yeah. The craziest story though, of the synchronicity though, is when you guys very first were starting your show. I don't know if you guys added us or we added you or how that went about, but we were talking about your pod, or I don't even know how. We were all talking about your guys' podcast in our group chat, and then literally the next weekend, Marty and Yoshi go up to Milwaukee to go to the zoo and run into Matt, and I'm like, what? We just talked about him, and you literally just ran into him just naturally. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That was super random. And I've been a big fan of your guys' for quite a while, so I always listen to the show and stuff. So yeah, I definitely was not expecting to be at the zoo with my daughter and have somebody come and say something about being a traveling man and wearing
know
a
that
hat,
Sasquatch.
and then we bumped into each other a little bit later because I usually only listen to your guys' audio. I never watch the video because it's while I'm working, right? So
Same.
we started talking, and all of a sudden, again, we bumped into each other again, and Yoshi introduces himself, and I'm like, wait a minute, from At Refreshment? Like, what the shit? I was like,
Well,
this is crazy.
You got good odds of seeing somebody who lives in Milwaukee if they have a kid under 2 to find them at the zoo. I'll tell you that. I feel like I'm
They have
there
a
every other
kid
week.
under 16, they're going to be at the zoo.
Yeah.
Gotta use that zoo pass up.
Yeah,
I
that,
went
that,
to, you
it's
guys
pretty
have like
funny.
a llama and goat farm outside of Milwaukee a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my wife went
yeah.
there a few years. Oh, shoot, dude, that was a while ago. Yeah. Actually, I think it was maybe around the same time I went to that auction up there. Yeah, I think I seen it when I went up there, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I gotta take my wife there." And then we went back up there, like, later on to go check it out. You just, like, feed, all kinds of farm animals, it's wild. You get to, like they give you
You
this big shop brush, and you just, like, brush all these giant hogs. It's yeah, it's
Sounds
wild, but
amazing.
it's super fun, yeah. It's really cool. A lot of goats, dude.
do you
I'd really
measure
get down with
time
some
these
goats.
days by when you got like a specific toy or when you were at an auction?
Oh,
Is
dude,
that
yeah. Yeah,
yeah?
100%. Yeah, yeah. I remember every single thing, where I was, where I found it. Dude, you should see my Masonic collection, dude. If the action figures is dude, I have more books I have probably like 8 or 9 Rubbermaid tubs of books just in my basement that are,
Mm.
like, too weird to put out on my bookshelves because I have kids now, and their parents come over to my house, and I can't have 30 Crowley books on my bookshelf, you know? So or
Yeah, I
anything
gotta
else weirder, you know?
Do what I do. You flip those books the other way, so it just looks like pages.
That's actually a great
right.
idea. Yeah,
Yeah, that's not a
shoot.
bad idea.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
technically, this closet over here has bookshelves on the top, and so some of my more occult books go in the closet. So you have to go find it if you want to go find my more rare books and stuff like that.
I have a small library in my loft where, like, I have, like, three shelves that are, like well, like, 3 huge shelves, like, one's Scottish Rite, one's, like, Blue Lodge stuff, and one's, like, other appended body stuff, but, like, yeah, I don't really keep any esoteric books out, really. I mean, maybe I think I have a couple tarot books probably, but, I know, like, I have the Paul Foster Case one because it's, like, a bright yellow Boda book with a cool little symbol.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only one I have on my shelf that because it's a nice leather-bound book, but other words, all of the other ones, I don't have any of all the what is it, Weiser books or Llewellyn, any of those softcover ones, New Falcon, all those ones
Mm-hmm.
are all hidden away.
Well, the thing that's funny is I don't know if I hide mine. It's just that I don't want people to see them and make an assumption. Like, so
Absolutely.
Andrew's fully in on this. I'm like, just understand I have 2 hobbies. I buy books and I read them, and they're separate. So
Yeah,
that book
yeah.
I might not even open. Like, it's
I
just
do
there.
that too, yeah,
Yep.
right?
I guess so. You don't judge me. You don't even know what my opinion is on it. I might hate it. Who knows?
Yeah,
Or I might love it.
Right.
Whatever.
yeah, exactly. I, since my eyes have been getting worse, I haven't been reading as much, and it's disappointing.
Audiobooks.
Yeah, it's just not the
Like,
same
Wes,
because I'm
you're a
like,
huge reader too,
Podcast and a
man.
book.
Dude.
Yeah.
Podcast and a book.
yeah, it's just I'm getting old and stubborn. Oh, I can't do this anyway. Fuck it, I can't do it my way. I'm not going to do it. It's
I
a
can't
bad
do the
attitude to have,
audiobooks
but
either.
it's like, all right, have you heard the audio book on Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma? It's a
That's
robot.
brutal.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a robot,
Oh,
and
really?
like, yeah, and like most of the stuff I'd want to read, that's probably how it's gonna sound. And say,
Meaning of Masonry as a voice actor doing it, like a British guy. The new Lord of the Rings has Andy Serkis doing the whole thing, the voice of Gollum.
I
It's
was just gonna
amazing.
say that's one I could
It's
probably do.
See,
amazing.
Yeah,
I-
It's
yeah.
And all
like
the voices.
Jocko
Okay.
Willink and Andy Serkis are like the 2 audiobooks I could do.
I love fiction. Love it all. Okay, but I don't read fiction. I've read the Lord of the Rings. I've read the Star Wars books and stuff, but I can't give my time reading to fiction anymore because
Good
it's
thing
kind
you're
of a
listening
waste
to
of
it
time.
then. Listening to it on the car ride. Perfect.
Yeah. So no, I don't even do that.
Saving time.
So, but yeah, I got to figure out something or just get stronger glasses. But my eyes are getting bad.
Yeah, they're called readers. They're
Oh,
for
these
old
are
people.
readers, and they're. I mean, I take them off, and I can't see you guys. You guys are all blurry. But anyways,
Abstract art.
I moved into progressive lenses now. Woo, yay, bifocals without looking like they're bifocals.
Elderly.
yeah, I'll probably have to get those. So, correct me if I'm wrong. Did I hear you guys advertise the Third Degree podcast on one of your commercials?
Yeah, they sent me an ad. We owe them one too, but me and Matt are unprepared and bad at planning. But yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very cool. I
Okay.
love that
We
you
need-
guys do that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I like the idea. Why in the podcast world, how everybody fights for views and stuff, which I don't think we should. What made you guys decide to kind of break that mold a little bit?
It was
One team,
actually
one
their
dream,
idea.
baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Mhm.
They approached us saying that they would like an advertisement for us, and they've been running some for Studio 357 as well. And when they approached us for one to run on their show, we were like, "Yeah, give us one for you," and they definitely they gave us one, which is great. And Andrew and I haven't followed through and gotten them one, which we really need to. But as I've moved through or as we've moved through the Masonic podcast community, I found that I don't really feel like there's guys out there trying to compete with each other, and it's great. I feel like we have the same mentality that it seems like stand-up comedians do now. Those guys are all jumping all over each other's shows, plugging each
Yeah.
other's stuff, helping each other out, and
how we should be,
that's
though.
great. That's how this should work, right?
Well, look at how much stand up is blown up, and then with like when you get into like a lot of tension that's in, America in general right now, comedy, is on that forefront where, a lot of people can get behind that and a lot of people are looking for that release. So, it's a good community for us to emulate how they're doing it right, especially at a time like now, that can help us.
Well, and the thing is like, I just like the idea that people are listening to Masonry in their free time. It can be me, it can be someone else. And so I'm confident enough that people like me and they're not going to cheat on me too hard. And so they'll probably come back to my show, even if they like theirs or they'll listen to both. But if everyone has their own cup of tea, and it's the same thing I say about lodge. When someone comes to join or interested in joining my lodge, I tell them you should go visit a couple of lodges too. And I said, because what if this is not the right fit for you and then you just don't ever listen to a podcast again or this lodge again when you could have found one that's a better fit? So I have no issue cross-pollinating, cross-posting, because I go, everyone should find their space where they can enjoy this type of content. And wherever that is, I'm happy for them. So for me, it's not competition, and I'm always happy to cross-post, pollinate, and it's our newest appendant body, the Royal Order of Podcasters.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Now we just got to author a degree for it.
Oh God,
We've
dude,
been
can you
talking
imagine
about
the
that for years. Doing an
we've
At
been talking
Refreshment
about a degree for At Refreshment for years, and it's just like, oh,
They go
well.
into a dark room and only one light is on them. They can't even see who's in the darkness, and people just start firing questions at them. And they have to
Oh yeah, I'm like,
Single
well,
microphone on a stand.
have a huge soundboard that's like constantly like, ba-da-ba-ba-choo, like being super annoying with podcast sounds.
well, the thing is, I think people would expect that there's probably going to be heavy drinking in the degree, and it's like, well, yes, we probably should have that, but we got to make sure that the candidate is going to survive. We're not, being, idiots or encouraging people to, be
Minimum
stupid with
after.
alcohol. Put it that way. That's my
Right.
one big fear. Because yes, we have fun, we get out of hand and everything, but we're adults, and I just don't want to influence somebody on doing the wrong thing. So. And
Yeah,
we're
they
lazy
can't drink
writers.
cocktails in the hot seat.
Well, it's not an easy. That's not an easy undertaking either.
No,
You know,
no, it's
it wouldn't
not.
be.
I've tried writing the degree a couple times, and I just crumbled it up and threw it out because it just doesn't sound right. And I didn't like what Chat GPT gave me either. I'm like, no, that sounds too phony.
Dude, chat bot doesn't know anything about doing degree work, dude.
No, it doesn't.
I try to ask it about translations or like old esoteric text, or I'll just ask it a question that I know the answer just to see what it'll say. And I'm like, dude, it has no idea. It can't barely even decipher an action figure photo, dude.
Okay. Well, they updated it. You know what you do? Get the file. If you have a book file, take that, upload it to ChatGPT. It'll read it, and then you can ask it questions about it, and it will start learning what you want. So if you keep
That's
putting
my
different
thing.
books
I gotta
in,
train
it will
one, but
get that language
basically,
together for you.
making my own
That's
golem.
crazy.
Yeah, I have a couple golems.
Yeah,
I have
that's what I'm
that's
like. Oh,
I
this
have-
is I'm creating magical golems here by teaching it all this magical, just feeding it magical books.
I have one called Brother Clanker, and he's a good guy.
Dude,
I
that's
programmed him
awesome.
to always be really quirky and really annoying too. So the whole time he's like, "Lickety split, worshipful master, I'll get my gears a turning." And I'm like, "Oh God, I'll get them gears a rolling and spit one out for you." And I'm like, "Oh heck yeah, Brother Clank."
That's awesome.
Well, that's pretty much all I got. The last question I got for you guys, since this is going to be the end of the episode, do you have a shout out and shouts out for anyone you'd like to give?
Shout outs. I'd like to do a big shout out to our friends at the other podcaster communities. Give a shout out to the Third Degree Podcast. Give a shout out to the Traveling Man Podcast. 357 Studio 357. Check them out. And who am I missing?
All
At
square.
Refreshment's already here.
Yeah.
That other Masonic podcast.
That other Masonic podcast. That's the one I was thinking of. That other one. Yeah. Shout out to them. Go check them out. Check out the podcast community. Support Masonic podcasting.
Did you guys, the Working Tools podcast, you guys listen to that one?
I just started doing a little bit more of that.
Theirs too. Yeah. I wanted to make sure I got them on my list to give them a shout out.
Yep. I think he was just on Brother Robert Johnson's show, and I think that's why I started checking it out.
Yeah.
Shout out to Once Game, you too. Check him out.
Yeah.
What do you got, Matt?
Well, we talked about him a couple times this episode, so I feel like I have to do it to Most Worshipful Dave Ritchie for giving us the opportunity to start and continue this show. So
don't fire us.
Right. He's our origin. So
to the most worshipful granddaddy, let us keep doing this. Thank you.
Well, guys, it's been awesome having you. Great talking to you again. I know it's been a year since I last spoke to you, and you guys still look the same and look even better. And I'm glad the podcast is doing well for you guys. I'm happy for you.
The camera doesn't show all the gray that Andrews caused in that last year. So,
better camera.
That's all right. You're not at Yoshi level yet. I mean, everybody sees the cool guy approved, right? And when I recently seen him, like, wow, I think I got to put more gray hairs in that cool guy approved his logo. He's like, shut up. So, let me end this and stick around for a minute. All right, everyone, that's our episode. If you haven't figured it out, you're watching us on YouTube, listening to us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, all the other things that we mentioned that I forget. So, and please like and subscribe, comment, let us know your opinions. Let us know what you think of these guys, this episode, and us and Freemasonry. Everyone, have a good night, and we'll be back with more.
Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Share the truth. Lighting the room when the mic comes on. Every sweatsman, come on. At Refreshment.